Chào con.
Hello, teacher.
How are you, Kian?
I think I'm still fine.
You're still fine. You think? You think?
Yes,
Okay. What
I'm
what
not
have
quite
you?
so good.
Yeah. What have you been doing this week, Kian?
Well, my mom have some problem with her legs, so he has gone to hospital at the start of last week.
Right. Oh, I'm
So,
sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. So she had to go to the hospital. Is that what you said?
yes,
Okay. Is she feeling better now?
I think it's yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I'm sorry. So is she at home or staying in the hospital?
She has stayed in hospital for 1 week.
Wow, 1 week already. And how much longer will she stay there, do you think?
Well, I think it's some days. I don't know. It's about
What?
3 days.
Maybe 3 more days, but you're not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope she can come out of hospital soon. Okay. Just wait, everyone, to see if anyone else is going to join us this morning, and then I will tell you what we're going to be learning today. So, Ting, what have you been doing this week?
In this week, I do many things
Yeah.
like
For example, for example.
go swimming
Mm-hmm.
in Thursday and Tuesday.
You go swimming.
Yeah,
Oh, that sounds good. Sounds like good exercise to do in the summer. Do you go swimming every day, Ting?
no, I go swimming on Tuesday on and Thursday
Okay.
morning.
Okay, good. And do you swim very far?
I think not.
Not. Okay, not that far. Okay, but that's good. Good exercise. I'm glad you are doing some exercise. That's great. Bao Ling, Chao Gon.
Hello, teacher.
How are you, Bao Ling?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. And Tuan Son. Sin Chao Tuan Son.
Hello, teacher.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Okay. Can everyone turn your cameras on, please? Thank you, Tuan Son. Thank you, Michael. Just waiting for the others. Knock 2, thank you. I can see you. And Bao Ling, I can see you too. That's great. And Kian, I can see you too. Ting, do you have a camera?
I don't have.
Okay, that's a shame. Okay, everyone, we will get started because I always like to start on time, and also I think it's good. If you come to class on time, you shouldn't have to wait for everyone else to join us. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a mix of grammar, actually, grammar and speaking. The reason we're going to be doing some grammar is that because I've been reading some of your essays recently, and there are still quite a few grammar mistakes in the essays. Now, I know you have spent years studying grammar with both Mrs. Ha and also at school, but there are still quite a few mistakes coming through. And of course, remember, for the Ielts test, 25% of your mark is based on grammar. So you want to make sure that you can make as few mistakes as possible. Nokha. Chào
Hi.
Nokha. How are you, Nokha?
Great, thank you.
Good. Oh, I can see you very clearly, Nokha. Wow, it's like you are right next door. It's right, you're right, not thousands of kilometers away in a different country. Looks very clear, your picture. Actually, yours does too, Knock 2 and Michael. Very clear pictures. And actually also to and Son. So that's great. Good connection. So as I was saying, I'll just share the screen with you now so we can see what we are doing. Okay, so we're going to be looking at grammar shortly. I'm just going to remind you of the main mistakes that most students make with grammar. These are the most obvious mistakes and hopefully the easiest to fix. All right, so I just need to remind you about these. And then for the rest of the lesson, we're going to practice part 3 speaking. Before we start, does anyone have any questions for me before we start? Okay. All right, you should all be able to see the grammar screen now. Okay, so I'm going to play you this. Actually, I'll just make sure before we start that. Yep, just making sure everyone can see and hear the video that I'm going to share with you now. Okay, Michael.
Yeah.
Okay, can you please read the first paragraph, please?
25% of your marks in the writing and speaking tests come from using appropriate grammar structures that are error-free.
Good. Sorry, Michael,
Yeah.
sorry. What does appropriate mean, Michael? Appropriate.
You mean using the right one?
Correct. Okay. And what does error-free mean?
Mean
Error-free.
there are no errors.
Good. And what's a synonym for error that begins with M?
Mistakes?
Correct. Very good, Michael. That's great. Okay. Please keep reading, Michael. One more sentence.
All right. Unfortunately, people often make frequent grammar mistakes when learning a new language.
Okay, good. Thank you. Good reading, Michael. Knock 2. Knock 2.
Yes.
Okay, Knock 2. What does this word here mean? Frequent. What does that mean?
I usually when
Means often. Often.
yeah.
Yeah, means often. Okay, something that happens very often. Frequent and often are synonyms. Good. Okay. All right. Knock 2. Can you please read me the next sentence?
In fact, if more than 30% of your sentences have any error in them, you will not get more basic for grammatical range and accuracy.
Okay. It's pronounced accuracy. Accuracy.
Accuracy.
Good. Accuracy. Accuracy. And accuracy means that you are using the words correctly. That's right. Okay. If something is accurate, okay, it means it is on target. On target. You are using it correctly. And you just misread this figure here. Knock 2. The figure, this percentage, what is it?
50%.
Good. 50%. 50%. Okay, that's good. All right. And Knock 2, can you also just please read the next sentence?
In other words, to score 7 or higher, you should try to make more than half of your sentence completely error-free.
Good. Error-free, which means no mistakes. Okay. Error-free is a synonym meaning no mistakes. Okay. Thank you, Knock 2. So again, everyone, just to paraphrase, 25% of your marks come from using correct grammar structures. Okay. If you want to get a score of 7 or more, 50% of your sentences have to be error-free, no mistakes. So no grammar mistakes, no vocabulary mistakes. Okay, and I'll just get you to read one more paragraph, please. Ting, ting.
After marking thousands of Ielts tests, I have noticed that the same errors are made repeatedly. Below are the top 10 mistakes and some advice on how to avoid them.
Okay, what does repeatedly mean? Ting, repeatedly. Do you know?
Many times.
Yes.
Many times.
Many times. To repeat something means to do something over and over again. So repeatedly just means over and over again or many times, doing the same thing many times. Okay, and just this word here, what is a synonym for advice, Ting? What is a synonym for advice? Can you think of a synonym for advice? Begins with S. S. S-U. Ting, S-U. Any idea? S-U-G. 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 Any idea, Ting?
You.
S-U-G. Okay, Kian, any idea?
I think it's a suggestion.
Correct. Suggestion. Thank you, Kian. Okay, so suggestions and advice are synonyms. Okay, suggestion and advice are synonyms. Okay, so as he says here, okay, students make the same 10 mistakes over and over again. So the first part of our lesson today is just to remind you about these mistakes, okay, so that you can fix them. Because again, as I say, if you want to get more than 7, you need to have 50% of your sentences mistake or error free. So we're just now going to watch some of this video. I'll just check if anyone else has joined the class before I do that. No. Okay.
Here from IELTS Advantage with another week and another mini course. So one of the most effective ways to improve your overall IELTS scores is to improve your grammar. Grammar accounts for 25% of your total writing mark, 25% of your total speaking mark, and it's also important for reading and listening as well. So in order to help you guys as much as possible, what we're going to do this week is we're going to do a 3-day mini grammar course. So let's have a look at what we're going to be doing this week. So day 1, we're going to look at how grammar actually affects your score, because as I already mentioned, it's 25% of your total writing and your total speaking score, but it also can affect other areas as well, other unexpected areas. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk a lot about how the examiners think about grammar and what they're looking for, especially for the writing test. And we'll also talk about a lot of myths surrounding grammar. So we'll talk about mistakes and how that affects your score, structures, tenses, complex sentences, simple sentences, all of those different things, because there's a huge number of myths surrounding grammar, as there are in other parts of the test as well. So in order to understand what to do, you need to understand what not to do first.
Okay, just stop you there. Bao Ling. The word he mentioned there, which you can see on the screen here, myth. What is a myth, Bao Ling? Myth.
I understand, but I don't know how to explain.
You're not sure how to explain? Okay, so a myth, everyone, is like a story that isn't true. Does that make sense to you now, Bao Ling?
Yes.
Okay, a myth is just a story. A myth is like, but it's like a very old story. A very old story, a myth. But a myths are not true. All right. So what he's saying here is that there are some myths or there are some stories about how to fix grammar that are not true. So that's what we're going to be looking at this morning.
So we'll be looking at that today. Day 2, we've got a lot of requests for help with simple versus complex sentences. What is the difference between those? How do you make complex sentences? How do they affect your score? And so we'll be looking a lot about that. Not tomorrow, Wednesday. So Wednesday at midday on Facebook here, we'll be having a look at that live. And then on day 3, which is Friday at about 11 a.m., we'll do it a little bit earlier on Friday, we're going to look at a grammar improvement plan. So this is a plan that you can use at home for free by yourself, and you can work on improving your grammar. So we'll give you that. It's a very simple strategic plan that you can use. So we'll give you that on Friday. Okay, so without further ado, let's have a look at how grammar actually affects your score. So it's 25% of speaking, 25% of writing. Let's have a look at writing. So here we have task achievement, 25%, coherence and cohesion, 25%, lexical resource, which is vocabulary, 25%, and grammatical range and accuracy, which is 25%. So these are the things that the examiners are going to be thinking about when they're looking at your task 1 and task 2 writing. So a very, very common thing that we see is a student might have band 7 task achievement. They've answered the question pretty well. Their coherence and cohesion is at around a band 7, and their vocabulary is at around band 7. What we see a lot is with grammar, it might be at a band 6. So what a lot of students think is, if I get these 3 at a band 7, it doesn't matter if my grammar isn't that good, because I'm going to get a band 7 overall. Wrong. That's probably not going to happen. Let me explain why that probably will not happen. So if you are getting a band 6 for grammar, that means you're making a lot of grammar mistakes. Like pretty much every sentence has some sort of grammatical error in it. And what happens is, if you're reading someone who is at a band 6 level, their writing is quite difficult to understand, because there are many grammatical mistakes in it. There could be some major mistakes, but there's going to be a lot of small mistakes there. So what happens is, someone who is at a band 6, their coherence and cohesion, it can actually cause your coherence and cohesion to drop down to a band 6 as well. Why is that? Because coherence means, can you read the essay, or can you read the task 1 response and understand what it's saying? Is it clear? Is it easy to understand? If your grammar is at a band 6, it can cause the essay to drop down. Also, if your grammar is poor, you can also start making a lot of vocabulary mistakes. All right, so if you don't understand how the word operates in a sentence, then it can lead to even more grammar mistakes. Sometimes it can also lead to the examiner looking at your task 2 or your task 1 response and just not knowing whether you answered the question or not because of grammatical errors. That's rare. More common is these two. So it's very common for grammatical range and accuracy to cause people to get a 6.5 overall, because they're getting a 6 for grammar, but then it might bring one of these two or both down to that level. So that's one of the reasons why 6.5 is a very common score. And there could be many reasons for that, but for a lot of people it is related to grammar. So that's what we're going to work on this week, to help you, because if your grammar is going to go up to this level, then you're more likely to be getting a 7 or above. If you want to get a 7, you should be aiming for all of these across the board to be at a 7, because you don't know what's going to happen on exam day. If you want a band 8, aim for all of them to be at a band 8. You shouldn't go in and think, I might get away or I might be lucky. You know, try and move everything up to the level that you're aiming for, and then, you know, you'll get the score that you need on exam day. So, what are the examiners looking for when it comes to grammar? It's really important that you understand this. Hopefully this is quite clear. I've made this like a seesaw, all right? So I'm sure in playgrounds where you live, you have, you know, one kid here and one kid here, and it's like a little seesaw, and it goes like this. This is here for a reason. So the examiner is looking for two principal things, and they're related, all right? And that's why we have the seesaw. One is range, so range of structures, range of tenses, range of complex sentences, range, simple sentences, complex sentences, compound sentences. So that's one of the things that they're going to be looking for. However, the other thing that they're going to be looking for is accuracy. All right, how many mistakes are you making? One of the ways that they will look at that is error-free sentences. An error-free sentence is exactly how it sounds, is a sentence with no grammatical errors in it, completely free of any errors whatsoever related to grammar. And the more error-free sentences you have, in general, the higher the score that you're going to get. But why do we have this seesaw? Why is there a relationship between this? Because what happens to a lot of students, and the reason why they get a band 5 or a band 6 for grammar, is they put too much emphasis on range. So they try and really increase the complexity of their sentences, include lots and lots of complex sentences and complex tenses and a huge wide range of tenses and structures and everything. And when they try and do that, their accuracy goes down, all right? So it doesn't matter if you have this massive wide range of tenses and complex sentences and structures if you're making lots and lots and lots and lots of mistakes.
Okay, I'll just stop Chris there for a moment. Michael?
Yep.
Okay, Michael, this is one of the problems with your writing, okay?
Yes, I know.
Okay, so you are very good. You can still see the screen. You are very good, Michael, at trying to use complex structures and sentences, but sometimes it is not accurate. So this is why I keep saying, in case you haven't heard me say this for a while, I'll say it again. It's better to keep it simple, KIS, okay, so that your sentences, while they might not be very complex, at least they are accurate. So accurate sentences, accurate simple sentences will not lose you any marks. Does that make sense, Michael?
Yeah.
Okay, obviously, if you are confident that you are using the correct structures and correct sentences, then that is fine, of course. If you are confident that you know what you're doing, then of course, please do that. But if you are not sure, always better to use the simple word or the simple structure so you don't lose any marks for mistakes. I hope that is clear to everyone.
So in general, as students try and increase complexity, their accuracy will go down. And that's why we have the seesaw here. And the interesting thing about this is, for most students, there's nothing wrong with their range. Because as you write an essay, you're going to be using a variety of structures and a variety of tenses and a mix of simple and compound and complex sentences. That normally takes care of itself. What the thing that students really struggle with, and the reason why like 95% of students fail to get the score they need in grammar, is because of accuracy. Just making too many mistakes. And this is the thing that's very obvious whenever you get, a student's work. You look at it, you'll just see mistake, 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 and it's impossible to give them a high score for grammar and a high score overall if there are mistakes in multiple mistakes in nearly every sentence that they have. If you're looking for a 7 or above, you should be aiming for the majority of your sentences. So more than 50% of your sentences should have no grammatical errors in them whatsoever. And by trying to focus on range, you're making that really, really, really difficult. So that's something to bear in mind. It's something that is the key to understanding how to improve your grammar, is this diagram. So let's talk about myths, all right? And there's a car here for a reason, all right? So if you do your driving test in the UK, I don't know what it's like in different countries.
And just reminding everyone, especially if you've just joined the lesson, a myth, this word here, a myth is a story that is not true. Okay, a myth is a story that is not true. For example, a myth might be 100 years ago, there used to be dragons in Vietnam. Okay, that is not true. That is a myth. It is a story, maybe a very good story, about how dragons used to be in the mountains of North Vietnam, all right? And a very romantic story too, but it's not true. It is a myth. A myth is a story which might be very interesting, but is not true.
But in the UK, I think you're allowed to pass the test. It's less than, is it 16 minor faults? Is that correct? 16, yeah. So you can make less than 16 minor faults on the driving test. A minor fault is something like not checking your mirror or crossing your hands or something like that. And no major faults. So a major fault would be speeding or not looking at a junction, something like that. And this is not exactly the same, but very, 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 very close to how the IELTS test is marked in terms of grammar. Myth number one, your grammar must be perfect. That's wrong, all right? In order to get a band 7, you can actually make quite a few small grammar mistakes. In the same way that if you were doing the driving test in the UK, you could make like 15, how many did I make? 9, I think. I think I had 9 minor faults and I still passed. No major faults, which we will get onto in a second, but it's very, very similar to the IELTS writing test, and especially the speaking test. In the speaking test, you can make quite a few grammatical errors and grammatical mistakes and still get quite a high band score. Now, does that mean that you can make, you know, lots and lots and lots of mistakes and still get a high score? No, but IELTS realize that you are an English learner. You will make mistakes. Even someone at a band 9 does make little mistakes from time to time. They're just slips, but they are there. So often you will show a student a really good essay, like a band 9, band 8 essay, and they'll look at it and they'll see a couple of small mistakes and they'll say, oh, that's terrible, they made a small mistake, that's a band 5. That's not the way to think about it, especially for the speaking test. If you try and be perfect, your fluency is going to really suffer and you won't be able to actually speak because you will be thinking of the perfect sentence and it will just destroy your fluency. With the writing test, if you are trying to aim for perfection, you're never going to get there. Even a band 9 student is never really going to get perfect grammar. You're not aiming for perfection. You're aiming to use grammar as a tool to help you clearly communicate through writing. So don't aim for perfection. Try and improve your grammar as much as you can and minimize mistakes as much as you can, but only as much as you can. Remember this little analogy for the driving test. And you should also try and avoid major grammatical errors. So what are major grammatical errors? Major grammatical errors are errors that stop the reader or the person listening understanding what you mean. Smaller grammatical errors like countable, uncountable nouns mistakes, preposition mistakes, article mistakes, they can all count up. But if you're only making a couple of them in your whole essay, or a few of them during your whole speaking test, not such a big deal because they don't affect communication.
Okay, I'll just summarize very quickly what Chris was saying there. So you don't have to have perfect grammar. You can still get a band 7 score. Remember, if 50% of your sentences have mistakes. Okay, so you can still make quite a few mistakes and still get a band 7. So what Chris is trying to say is that sometimes people get very stressed about their grammar, worrying if their grammar is correct, and that can affect fluency. If you're always thinking about grammar, then it's hard to think, especially in the speaking test, it's hard to think about what you're actually saying if you're worried about grammar. So don't worry about making your grammar perfect, okay? Just concentrate on making it as good as you can, but don't get too stressed about it. And that's why we'll be practicing this.
Myth number 2, you must use as many different structures as possible in order to get a high score. This is not true, all right? So again, using the analogy of the driving test, When you're doing the driving test in the UK, they take you out onto public roads and you're going to be turning left, you're going to be turning right, you're going to be going down two-way roads, one-way roads, you're going to be at T-junctions, you're going to be at level crossings, you're going to come across a whole range of different scenarios. So you don't immediately begin the driving test and start going left and right and doing all these crazy things, because you naturally will be doing them throughout the course of I think it's like a 40-minute test or a 30-minute test. The same is true when you're doing the speaking test. You will naturally use a range of different structures because you're going to be speaking for about 15 minutes. In the writing test, you're going to be using naturally a range of different structures. So you shouldn't focus on that. You should focus on answering the questions, and you will naturally use a range of structures in exactly the same way as in the driving test. You just follow what the examiner says, go where they want you to go, and you will naturally do that. But you focus in the driving test on minimizing mistakes, not making any major mistakes, not making any minor mistakes, or as few minor mistakes as possible. So what happens is, if you try and use as many different structures as possible, two things happen. A, you don't answer the question. Try doing that even in your native language. Try like just writing an essay or writing a letter or an email to someone, and try and use as many different grammatical structures as possible. Like it's like a challenge you would set for yourself or something like that, a silly challenge, but it's just really difficult to do. You will naturally do that. You will naturally use a range of structures. Focus more on accuracy. Myth number 3, you must use as many different tenses as possible. This happened actually on Friday. I was working with one of my VIP students, and I asked her a really simple question. What's your job? And she started talking about her job, just saying, I work here, and explaining what she did. And that was all fine. Her fluency was great, her pronunciation was great, her vocabulary was great, her grammar was great. And then she stopped and started going on about, but in the past, when I was a little girl, I wanted to be this. And then she started talking about, and in the future, I want to be this. And her fluency started going downhill. Her pronunciation actually suffered as well. She was making lots of grammatical errors. And I stopped her and said, what are you doing? Why did you not just answer the question normally? And she said, oh, my old teacher said that I must use every single tense in every single answer in the speaking test. It's like, no, you do not have to do that. You use the tense that's appropriate to use in the circumstance that you're using it in. Exactly the same as in real life, you will use the appropriate tense when you're using it. If you're talking about the past, you'll use past tenses. If you're talking about the present, you'll use present tenses. If you're talking about the future, you'll use future structures. So don't go into the test thinking, I need to use as many different tenses as possible. Just go into the test thinking, I need to clearly communicate with the examiner and answer the questions effectively. And very much like number 2, you will use a range of different tenses, especially in the speaking test. They will ask you questions about the past, questions about the future, questions that ask you to connect the past to the present. So you're going to be naturally using all of those different tenses. So don't go in thinking that it's a tenses competition. It's a speaking test.
So I hope that's very clear to all of you, that you just remember the English, the IELTS test is a test of communication. So you just use whatever tense is appropriate for the question that you are asked. Okay? As Chris was saying, please don't think every question you have to use past tense, present tense, future tense. You don't. You just use whatever tense is correct for the question you are asked.
Myth number 4, all of your sentences need to be complex. And if you don't have every single sentence, if it's not complex, you're not going to get a high score. Again, not true. It's not a test of how many complex sentences or how long you can write a sentence. It's in the writing test, can you clearly answer the question, clearly communicate in writing? Speaking, can you clearly communicate with the examiner through opening your mouth and words coming out? Some sentences will be simple, some of them will be compound, some of them will be complex. As long as you're displaying a range of different sentences, you'll be fine. Again, focus on accuracy. It doesn't matter if you write a 50-word sentence if it has 50 mistakes in it. It's like, that doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. Myth number 5, memorization is a useful skill. So memorizing bits of sentences, or half a sentence or a full sentence, and then adding those in to your essay. It's not a memorization test, it's an English test. All right, memorization is a useless skill. Why? They're not testing memorization. If it was a memorization test, you could just learn, memorize lots of different grammar structures and kick them into your essays and into your speaking test, and you get a high score. That doesn't work, because grammar is just a tool. All right, just like having a hammer and a saw and a drill. Memorization is like giving tools to someone who doesn't know how to use them, like me. I don't know how to use a hammer or a saw or a drill. I'm completely useless when it comes to DIY or using my hands in any way. So if you gave these tools to me, I wouldn't know what to do with them, and I'd make a complete mess of it. This is exactly what happens when you try and memorize structures and tenses and complex sentences. You don't know how to use them. So what's going to happen? Going back to our little seesaw here, you're going to try to use all of these things, put this up, and then your accuracy is going to go down. Always remember that it is a balance between those two things, and your range is probably fine. You will naturally use a wide enough range. Your problem, I nearly guarantee it, because I work with students every single day who have this problem, is accuracy. So, hopefully you find that useful. It's really important that you understand the relationship between range and accuracy, and you understand the myths, and that they are myths. Because if you are going into the test believing things that are not true and giving the examiners things that they're not even looking for, then obviously you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So the first stage is knowing the truth, knowing what actually they are looking for. So tomorrow, or not tomorrow,
Okay,
Wednesday,
so
we're going
everyone, and welcome to those of you who've joined the class while the video was on. So I'm going to stop it there. Okay, so that is the end of all the myths. I hope that made sense to you. So the main thing I think to take out of what Chris was saying is that, yes, grammar is important because it's worth 25%, but don't stress about your grammar above other things like fluency and lexical resource or vocabulary. Okay, you can, as Chris said, you can make a lot of grammar mistakes and still get a score of 7. But as long as you don't make more than how many percent, Nokha? How many percent? How many percent of your sentences need to be correct? Correct. Good. Okay. 50%. Okay. As long as 50% of your sentences are correct, okay, you can get a 7, which I know is a mark a lot of you are aiming for. So that means you can make mistakes in the other 50%. That's okay. So again, grammar is important, but don't worry about grammar over other things. If you start to think about grammar all the time, it will affect your fluency. So I hope that was useful. So what I'm going to do now, everyone, I'm going to give you a quick test, a quick grammar test before we continue next week with the grammar lesson. And I'm going to give you this test now because I want to see how well you perform before I show you how to correct the grammar mistakes. So at the end of the lesson, hopefully most of you can get 100% on this test. But just for the moment, I want to see what score you will get before we do the rest of the lesson. Okay, so please everyone, I want you to send me the answer to each question in chat, okay, but one by one. You will see here there are 10 questions. 10 questions, okay? Please, okay, I want you to correct each of these sentences and send them to me in chat, but one at a time. So the first one you're going to do for me, okay, is this one, okay? Please correct sentence number 1. Send me the correct sentence, all the sentence in chat. Does that make sense, Michael?
Yep.
Okay, so everyone, please send me sentence number 1 in chat now, please. So I want you to write out, so each of these sentences has a mistake, or maybe more than one mistake. So I want you to write the correct sentence for me. But at the moment, just sentence number 1. Just sentence number 1. So can you do it quickly, please? I want to finish all these in the next 15 minutes. Okay, so at this stage, just one. Okay, please send me sentence number 1. All right, thank you, Zhao Wei. Thank you, Nok Ha. Thank you, Bao Ling. Okay, just one sentence, please, Michael. Thank you, Ting. Thank you, Feng Ni. Thank you, Kian. Thank you, Nok Tu. Thank you, Kak Zung. Thank you, Tuan Son. Thank you, Viet Ang. I just need to, you don't need to rewrite the whole sentence, everyone. You just need to correct it. This is quite simple, by the way. Thank you, Viet Ang. Okay, everyone, sentence. I'll give you the answer for number 1. The answer for number 1 is exercise is good for the body. Okay, so sentence number 1 was missing an article, the, before body. Exercise is good for the body is the correct answer to number 1. So number 2, please, everyone. Number 2. Okay, as quickly as you can, please, everyone. Thank you to and Son. All right. Thank you, Michael. I already have yours from last time. Thank you, Bao Ling. Thank you, Kak Zung. Thank you, Zung Ha. Thank you, Ting. Thank you, Nok Tu. Thank you, Phung Ni. Thank you, Viet Ang. Zhao Wei, I can't see your answer to number 2 for some reason. And Kian, I can't see your answer to number 2 either.
I have said it already.
Okay, I can see it now. Thank you, Kian. Okay, everyone. So the answer, actually, there are a couple of answers for number 2. Okay. Excuse me. The role of the teacher has changed in recent years. Okay. But you can also have the role of a teacher has changed in recent years. And Kian, you are also correct. The role of teachers has changed in recent years. So there are 3 different things you can do to correct that sentence. Either make teachers plural, or you need to use the or a. Okay, everyone, question 3, number 3. Okay, I can see you now. Thank you, Zhao Wei. Question 3. Thank you, Bao Ling. Thank you, Phung Ni. Thank you, Ting. Thank you, Nok Ha. Thank you, Kian. Thank you, Bao Ming. Thank you, Zhao Wei. Okay, Bao Chan, you need to write out the complete sentence, please. All the sentence, not just one or two words. So you need to write all the sentence. Thank you, Bao Chan. That's better. Okay, Viet Ang and Tuan Son. I haven't seen your answers to 3 yet. All right, thank you, Tuan Son. I can see yours now. Viet Ang, I haven't seen your answer to 3 yet. All right, thank you, Viet Ang. Okay, everyone, number 4. All right. So obviously the first 3 sentences were all to do with articles. And by the way, the correct version, the answer for number 3 is today the center of Hanoi is much busier than before. So you need an article before center. Number 4, everyone. Number 4, this is different. So doing this test, by the way, everyone, will help show me where you are having problems, so I can focus our next lessons on how to fix these problems. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Fung Ni. Thank you, Bao Ling. Thank you, Tuan Son. Thank you, Bao Chan. Thank you, Zhao Wei. Thank you, Nok Tu. Thank you, Kek Zung. Thank you, Kian. Thank you, Nok Ha. Viet Ang, if you can write out the complete sentence, that would be better. Thank you. Give you practice at writing. Okay, I have everyone's answer for number 4, except for Ting. All right, thank you, Ting. Okay, So that is interesting. Everyone got question 4 wrong. So we will be looking at this more next week. Okay, everyone got it wrong, but that's okay because now I know where we need practice. Number 5, everyone, number 5. All right, some of these sentences will have more than one mistake. There is a clue. Some of these sentences will have more than one mistake. So number 5, everyone, number 5. Thank you, Nok Ha. Thank you, Bao Ling. Actually, Bao Ling, can you remember to use capitals, please? Where appropriate. Remember to use capitals. Thank you, Bao Ming. Thank you, Fung Ni. Thank you, Kak Zung. Thank you, Tuan Son. Thank you, Jia Wei. Thank you, Kian. Thank you, Nok Tu. Thank you, Ting. Thank you, Bao Chan. All right. The correct answer to number 5, by the way, is at the weekend or at weekends. At the weekend or at weekends. You can have either. And the second thing, I go shopping. Shopping. Shopping doesn't have an S on the end. There's no such word as shoppings. Okay? Has to be shopping. At the weekend or at weekends, I go shopping with my friends. Number 6, please. Number 6. Everyone. Number 6. Thank you, Viet Ang. Thank you, Kak Zung. Thank you, Tuan Son. Thank you, Nok Ha. Thank you, Bao Ming. Thank you, Nok Tu. Thank you, Fung Ni. Thank you, Jia Wei. Thank you, Ting. Thank you, Bao Ling. Thank you, Kian. Okay, actually good. Everyone got this one correct. Everyone got it correct. Okay, there are a couple of different ways you can correct it. The main thing is that to change is to are. There are some dogs outside, not is. There are some dogs outside. All right, number 7, everyone, number 7. Thank you, Tu and Son. Thank you, Fung Ni. Thank you, Jia Wei. Thank you, Ting. Thank you, Bao Chan. Thank you, Nok Ha. Thank you, Bao Ming. Thank you, Nok Tu. Thank you, Viet Ang. Thank you, Kak Zung. Thank you, Kian. Bao Ling, I haven't seen your answer yet for number 6.
I have sent you.
Okay, I can't see it yet. I'll just check. Thank you, Bao Ling. Okay, now I can see it. Thank you. Okay, good. Again, everyone got this correct. All right, there are a couple of different ways you can do this. The main way is to change are to is. Here is some homework for you. That is the main thing that is wrong with this sentence. Okay, number 7, please. Number 7. Number 7. Thank you, Viet Ang. Thank you, Bao Chan. Thank you, Kak Zung. Thank you, Jia Wei. Thank you, Fung Ni. Thank you, Kian. Thank you, Ting. Thank you, Bao Ming. Thank you, Tuan Son. Thank you, Nok Tu. Thank you, Nok Ha. Okay, again, everyone got this correct. I would like to study overseas. The preposition to. All right, just two more of these. So number 9, everyone. Number 9. Thank you, Viet Ang. Thank you, Bao Chan. Thank you, Bao Ling. Thank you, Zhao Wei. Thank you, Ting. Thank you, Kian. Thank you, Bao Ming. Thank you, Kak Zung. Thank you, Fung Ni. Thank you, Nok Ha. Tu and Son, I haven't seen an answer from you yet. And Nok Tu. Okay, thank you, Tu and Son, and Nok Tu. Okay, last one, everyone. Number 10, last one. Thank you, Bao Ling. Thank you, Bao Chan. Thank you, Tu and Son. Thank you, Kian. Thank you, Zhao Wei. Thank you, Ting. Thank you, Fung Ni. Thank you, Bao Ming. Thank you, Viet Ang. Thank you, Nok Tu. Nok Ha and Kak Zung. I haven't seen your answers yet.
I sent you in chat.
Okay, I can see it now. Thank you, Kak Zung. And thank you, Nok Ha. Okay, that is everyone. Good. Okay, Just to go over the correct answers for 9 and 10, you should avoid drinking coffee after 6 p.m. Drink has to become drinking, has to have ing in the end. And number 10, I finished writing my essay. Okay, so most of those were pretty easy. I'll just actually see who got the most score, who got the highest score. All right, so no one got 10 out of 10. Okay, but these people got 9. Bao Ming, Ting, Bao Ling, Nok Ha, Jia Wei, and Kak Zung all got 9 out of 10. The one that everyone got wrong is number 4. There were many traffic in the city. So that's good. I know that next week, okay, I will look at that sentence, okay, and how you can fix that. So that's good. Okay, everyone. For the rest of the lesson, we're going to do some speaking. Okay, Feng Ni. Feng Ni.
Yes.
Feng Ni, can you see the part 3?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so I'll go very quickly through this because I want to get everyone a chance to practice this at least once. We are finishing, by the way, at 11:30. Okay, 11:30, we will finish. So not long to go. So, as I'm sure you all know by now, part 3 questions are about the world in general. They will ask you your opinion of something. Part 1 questions are just about always about you, but part 3 questions are more about the world and how you feel about different things. So, how to do or how to answer a part 3 question. All right, I'm going right down the list now to strategy number 1. Strategy number 1. Feng Ni, can you please read strategy number 1 for me?
Answer the question, explain why, and give an example.
Good, thank you, Feng Ni. So there are 3 parts to answering a part 3 question. Answer the question, explain why you think what you do, and if you can, give an example. For part 1 questions, you don't need to do this. Usually part 1 questions, you just answer the question. But part 3 questions require you to do some thinking and give an opinion, and it's also really good if you can give an example. Remember that part 3 questions, your answer should be at least 5 or 6 sentences. 5 or 6 sentences. And of course, you never say, I don't know. Even if the topic is something that you know nothing about, you still need to say something. Okay, so this is the example I have used here. Nok Ha. Nok Ha.
Yeah.
Okay, Nok Ha, can you please read the answer to this question? Do people in Hanoi enjoy going shopping?
Yes, many people in Hanoi enjoy shopping.
Good. Why? Why, Nok Ha?
They like to go because, like people everywhere, they are interested in buying new things. Even if they don't have much money, many people just enjoy looking at the products of fractions, even if they can't afford them. Another reason is that shopping is more than just buying things. While they are out, people can also get something to eat and maybe go to the movies. For example, I take my family to the mall every weekend where we can do many things.
Okay, good. Very good reading, Nokha. Great reading, very fluent. Good. So you can see, everyone, I hope, okay, that I have answered the question. Okay, this is answering the question. Yes, many people in Hanoi enjoy shopping. I have said why, and I have given several different reasons why people like shopping. Okay, and then I have given an example. So this is the structure that you need to practice and that you need to know for answering part 3 questions. If you can't think of an example, doesn't matter. Okay, doesn't matter too much, but for most questions, you should be able to give an example. So actually, I should correct what I was saying before. If you can't think of an example for every question, doesn't matter, but you should be able to give an example for most questions. All right, that is strategy number 1, which we'll practice in just a moment. Strategy number 2 is this. Viet Ang. Viet Ang.
Dear teacher,
Okay, can you please read strategy number 2 for me?
something this explain why. Example, other people think this. Explain why. Example, I think this. Explain why. Example.
Okay, good. So strategy number 2, okay, you explain what may be the different sides of an argument or different opinions might be about something. And that sort of question is, can money buy happiness? Can money buy happiness? Okay, I can say, well, some people think that money can buy happiness because if they have a big house and a new car, they will feel happy. But other people say, well, money can't buy you happiness. Money can't buy you love, for example. And love is the thing that makes people happiest the most. However, I think that money can buy happiness sometimes. Excuse me. Because having a nice house and enough food to eat, of course, will help make you happy. And maybe if you have enough food and enough things to eat, then your family will love you more. Okay, so you can see how I have said in my answer to this question what some people think, what other people might think, okay, and then what I think. So 3 parts. You will notice that both these strategies have 3 parts to them. Okay, in strategy number 1 or plan number 1, you have the answer. You answer the question, do people in Hanoi enjoy going shopping? Then you explain why people in Hanoi go shopping. Then you give an example. Strategy number 2, okay, also has 3 parts. What some people think is part number 1, what other people think, part number 2, and then what you think is part number 3. And you can give an example as well, which is almost like a 4th part, I guess. Okay. So I'm going to not all ask you the same questions, but I'm going to ask you one of these questions now. This is a part 3 answer, okay? So I want you to use one of these strategies to answer for me the question. All right, Bao Chan, I'm going to start with you, then Viet Ang, then Kak Zung. Jia Wei, I saw your message about not having a microphone. That's fine. I won't ask you. Okay, but the first 3 are going to be Bao Chan, Viet Ang, Kak Zung, then Phung Ni. Okay. Bao Chan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Bao Chan, what are the advantages and disadvantages of having a camera phone?
I think about advantage of having camera phones is much way more convenient and can removable when you need to taking a picture like the way you eating a fast food
Okay, so much more convenient. That's good. Okay, so this, by the way, sorry, Baljan, this is where you need to use strategy 2. Okay, strategy 2. So think of what some people think of an advantage, then what some people think of as a disadvantage. All right, so your main advantage is it's convenient. What's a disadvantage, Baljan?
About the disadvantage,
Yeah.
It could be not much more better than the digital cameras. The quality of the image or change the color on the image.
Okay, good. So the way to say that, Bao Chan, is the quality of the image of a digital camera is better. Okay,
Yes.
that's the way to say it. The quality of the image of a digital camera is better. Okay, and the final part because we're using strategy 2, what do you think? Which one do you prefer, Bao Chan? Would you rather have a camera phone or a digital camera?
I prefer to have digital cameras. It's much more better than the camera phones. Also, the camera phone is convenient, but the quality of the image is not the same level of the digital cameras.
Okay, that's
So
good. Thank you,
yeah.
Bao Chan. That's fine. That's good. Thank you. So you did 3 parts of the question there, which is what I want you to practice. Does that make sense, Bao Chan? I got you to explain an advantage and
Yes.
a disadvantage, and then also your opinion. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. Thank you, Bao Chan. Okay, Viet Ang. Viet Ang, can you hear me?
Yeah, teacher.
Viet Ang, do you think people spend too much time posting photos of themselves online?
I think not really. Almost people spend time to posting the photo. It's about 1 hour and not much time. But a part of the part of your people who are posting the much time photo of themselves online, it is terrible. They don't do anything about uh different thing about the posting. Just for example, a teenager nowadays they spend much time for posting photo and upload on the media, and it is it I think it's not good. And instead of posting photos, they can help people, they can study.
Okay, that's fine, Viet Ang. That's good. So obviously, this was a question where you use strategy 1, Viet Ang. Is that right? You use strategy 1 for answering this question, okay? So you answered the question, you said no, okay? Then you give reasons why, and then you gave an example. So that's good, Viet Ang. Okay, you have the structure correct. Thank you. Okay, Kak Zung. Kak Zung.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can. So this question here, Kak Zung, how does posting images online affect people's mental health? Would you use strategy 1 or strategy 2 for this question?
I think I will strategy 2.
Correct. Okay, so please answer the question.
I think that posting image online can affect pupil mental health. It can make pupil feel more happy or more satisfied when they can say their favorable or their favorite picture and photos that they liked on online.
Okay,
And
good. So you've said what some people think, but what maybe do other people think, Kaksun?
other people think that posting image online is bored and it is time wasting because they have a lot of other work to do, so they don't like to share and post image online.
Okay, good. What do you think, Kaksun?
I think that posting image online is good. It can make people feel more happy and
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
and have
All right. Can you think of an example, Kaksun? Okay, of maybe you've put an image online and it's made someone happy. Can you think of an example?
yes, my mother is a pupil who very like to post image on Facebook, and when she posts image online, she may receive a lot of compliments of other friends and people on Facebook, and it's make her feels very happy.
Okay, that's great, Kaksung. Very good example. Okay, so that's good, Kaksung. So do you understand how to answer this question now, Kaksung? So
Yes.
do you strategy 2, you say what some people think, okay, then what other people think, then what you think, and give an example. That's great, Kaksung. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next 3 are Fung Ni, Nok Ha, and Tuan Son. Fung Ni, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Fung Ni, so I'm going to mix up the question a bit. Do you think, Fung Ni, people spend too much time posting photos of themselves online?
I think people is not at all, because posting photo online doesn't take too much time to do, and I think people sometimes like they go to traveling, they take the picture and they post to show to their friend that they go to traveling. I think, for example, like my mom, when she go to traveling with her friends, she take a lot of picture and they post on Facebook. But when she at home, she really doesn't often do that.
Okay, that's good, Fung Ni. Okay, so a very good structure to your answer, Fung Ni. So you answered the question, you gave me some reasons why, and you used the example of your mum. That's great, Fung Ni. Thank you. Nok Ha.
Yes.
Okay, Nok Ha, what are the advantages and disadvantages of having a camera phone?
Well, I think having a camera phone both disadvantage and advantage. First, it's about advantage. You can easily take photo pictures anywhere or anytime you want, and it can easily storage on your phone. However, the colors of a camera phone or like the digital of a camera is not good enough like a digital one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I think it will suitable for people who just want a like simple image, not for people like a full photographer.
Okay, can you think of an example?
For example, my friend is a photographer. She has different kind of cameras, and she not really into camera phone. She like to use digital cameras.
Okay, good. Thank you, Nokha. Okay, so just one thing, by the way, to think about with this question, advantages and disadvantages of having a camera phone. So far, everyone's talked about the technical advantages and disadvantage. What about the social advantages and disadvantages? What I mean by that is it good to have a camera with you wherever you go? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? So there's another side to this question. Thank you, Nokha. To and Son,
Yes, teacher.
do you think people spend too much time posting photos of themselves online?
I think they don't spend too much time posting themselves online because people will want to express themselves online and maybe it can show themselves and entertain for themselves too. Uh, just like one of my friend at my school, she's always take a picture of the scenes of the view where she has and post it online to share with everybody.
Okay, so that's your example. That's good. That's good, To and Son. So I just think with your answer, the structure is correct, but just needs to be a little bit longer, To and Son. So you need to give some more reasons, okay, about people spending too much time putting photos of themselves online. And you can also look at the advantages and disadvantages of that, To and Son. So,
Yeah.
for example, you can say, yeah, I don't most people think that no, they don't spend too much time because this is their hobby. This is something they like doing. On the other hand, if you spend too much time putting photos of yourself online, then you are not having time to spend face to face talking with friends and family. Does that make sense, To and Son?
Yes.
So you can make your answer longer that way. Okay, thank you. So the next three are Bao Ling, Kian, and Ting. Bao Ling, Kian, Ting, then Nok Tu, okay, and Bao Ming. You will be last. So Bao Ling, Bao Ling.
Yes.
Okay, how does posting images online affect people's mental health?
I think like people will get tired and exhausted because they spend too much time on on social media to post their image and like uh, they they may affect they may be affect with some mental issues like fear of missing out, like they always on the phone and they cannot miss any information on social media. And more than that, they can be like see like see see
Mhm.
the building like the negative comment or reaction can lead to cyberbullying that maybe lead to the like the consequence for mental health. And
Okay, so you have an example,
yes,
for example?
for example, like my friend had been had suffered from cyberbullying, so she was depressed and so she get out of the social media.
Okay, thank you, Bao Ling. That's a good example, but a sad one. Just to correct your pronunciation, it is cyber, pronounced cyber bullying. Okay?
Cyber.
Yeah, not cyber, cyber. Okay, thank you, Bao Ling. So, Kian Ting Nok Tu Bao Ming. Kian, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly.
Good. Do you think people spend too much time posting photos of themselves online, Kian?
I think is yes. Because wait, can you say again the question?
Do you think people spend too much time posting photos of themselves online?
Oh, I think is yes because wait, when people have some events like go shopping with friends or go to the cinema, they often post the photos on the Facebook or other social medias to flex to their friends. Well, in my opinion, there are no need to do that because they are just wasting their time instead of enjoy really the feeling of that people spend time on the social media and chatting and posting and talk with friends. Yeah, I think it's not waste of time.
Okay,
Um,
for example, Kian, for example.
yeah, I'm not done yet.
Okay, sorry. Okay, keep going,
For example,
Kian.
I have once a time where I go to the cinema with my friends, and one of my friends, instead of enjoying the film, and she start take a photo of us and the film and start chatting on Facebook. And after all, she don't remember the content of the film. It's kind
Okay,
of
good
waste of
example,
money.
Kian. Yeah, good example. That's great. That's good. And good structure, Kian. Good example. Okay, thank you. Okay, Ting.
Yeah.
Okay, Ting. Do you think posting images online affects people's mental health?
Uh, for me, I think posting image online affect people mental health. Because of if people wait.
Okay, so Ting, remember to use, this is a strategy 2 question, okay? All right, so remember strategy 2 is you, first of all, you talk about what some people will think, okay? Then you talk about what other people will think, so people who have a different opinion, and then finally you talk about what you think, okay?
Some people think posting image online affect people mental health. I think
Because
this is
why?
correct because if people concentrate about posting image in social media, so the health will be badly.
Okay, what about other people? What do other people think? What is the opposite point of view? I guess the opposite point of view, Ting, would be some people think it's okay, to post images online. It doesn't affect your mental health because people like seeing pictures of themselves and other people online. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So it might make some people happy. Okay, so that is the other point of view. All right. What is your point of view, Ting? What do you think? Do you think putting images online can be bad for people's mental health?
I think if people concentrate too much, so the posting image will be affect people mental health.
Okay, what did you say? Sorry, wasting image. Wasting image?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not quite correct English. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, Ting. You mean posting image or putting too many images will affect people's mental health? Which one are you trying to say, Ting?
I say post the image.
Posting images can affect people's mental health. Okay, all right, thank you, Ting. So again, I just want to make sure you are aware of the structure of how to answer these questions. So for this sort of question, like I said before, you need to give the different points of view about what different people might think about this, then also what you think about it and an example. Thank you, Ting. Okay, the final two for this lesson, then we'll finish. Nok Tu and Bao Ming, thank you for being patient. Thank you for waiting. Nok Tu.
Yes, yes.
Do you think people spend too much time putting pictures of themselves online?
I would say there's just because spend too much time to posting themselves online. I think they are update their lives, update update their day to everyone. For example, when you go hang out with your friends, you have to take photo to make sure that you are the take photo to your parent to make sure that you hang out with your friends for yeah, I think so. Take
Mm-hmm.
and 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 if you take a lot of photo to a lot of photo and upload in your social media, sometimes it's kind of annoying people because you taking too much. I think so.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you, Noctu. So that's good. You answered the question. You said why, and you gave me an example. So you follow the structure correctly. Does that make sense, Noctu?
Yes, I'm saying.
Okay, good. All right, thank you, Noctu. And finally, the last one for this morning, Bao Ming, Michael.
Yep, it's finally my turn.
Yeah, it's finally your turn. What are the advantages and disadvantages of having a camera phone?
Well, many people think that having a camera phone is good for yourself because you can, well, technically do everything on the phone. You can technically take every picture of yourself and record everything that you do. Well, for example, if you're going to the park and you wanted to memorize the moment that you have at the park, you can use the camera phone there. But nowadays, I don't think that there are a few people who get addicted to the camera phone and they cannot like actually socialize with the outside. For example, those teenagers nowadays, they usually just stick their eyes on the phone and never actually communicate with the others, or at least go outside and do exercises.
Okay, that's great. Good answer, Michael. Okay, so you looked at advantages, disadvantages, and gave me an example. Thank you very much. Okay, everyone, can you all turn your cameras back on, please? Everyone turn your camera on if you've turned it off. Nok Ha, Fung Ni, Viet Ang, I can see you. Bao Ling, Nok Tu, Kak Zung, and Bao Chan. I can't see you.
I have a technical problem, so I can turn on my camera.
Okay, thank you, Bao Chan. Kak Zung, there you are. I can see you now. Okay. And I know Ting hasn't got one. All right, everyone, that is the end of the lesson for today. So again, just to remind you, part 3 questions, okay? And strategy 1, part 3 questions, you answer the question, you give reasons, you give an example. all right? Or strategy 2, which is more for opinion type questions, okay? You say, what do some people think? What do other people think? And then what do you think? Okay, and then give an example. Okay, these are the 3 different ways of each different strategy to answer a part 3 question. Hope that makes sense. Okay, but you need to have 3 different parts in your part 3 answer. Anyway, that is the end of the lesson for today. Lovely to see you all as usual. Thank you for coming. Next week, we will continue with looking at the grammar. I will focus on the question that you all got wrong, so you can correct that. Okay, this will help get you a better score in the IELTS test. And of course, we will continue more with speaking. So thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Hope you have a great week. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Tam be it, everyone. Bye.
Goodbye, Mr.
Bye bye, teacher.